Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Got a 2004 GMC Sierra 2500 HD, and today I'll be upgrading the Hydro Boost system. I'm going to be putting in a 2011 Hydro Boost. Supposedly these have upgraded internal parts that help with braking and also steering, and it should be a direct bolt-on, so we'll find out and see here. First thing, you'll want to pop your hood here. Alright, so this is going to be our Hydro Boost here. We do have our master cylinder in the way. We shouldn't have to do anything with this except just pull it off the Hydro Boost system, and we shouldn't have to bleed the brakes or anything. So what I'm going to do is, you got two bolts on each side. Those would be 15 millimeter. Let's go ahead and remove both of those. Then with those off, you should be able to just slide this master cylinder out of the Hydro Boost. And you may have to move this upper radiator hose a little bit here. Should be good, just kind of like that. Next, let's go ahead and remove the return line here for the power steering. So probably want to get yourself a rag here. Just kind of shove that under there. Get yourself some vice grips or some pliers here. Let's squeeze this hose clamp here and pull that off. You can see you get a little bit of fluid there. And then what I'm going to do is just take this old cup here and I'll stick that down in there just to keep that from leaking here. Next, let's go ahead and pull this line off, or at least break it free. I'm going to be using a 16 millimeter line wrench. That works the best. That way you don't strip them out. Let's get that on there. And let's see if we can break this free here. Once you get it broken free, you can use just a normal wrench. And then the other side is going to be an 18 millimeter. So again, I'll use a line wrench on this one. Just to break it free. And then just use a normal 16 millimeter. Get that loosened up the rest of the way here. So next we need to start disconnecting it from underneath the dash here. So let's go ahead and crawl up under here. So next we need to remove the rod from the Hydro Boost that's connecting to the brake pedal. So here's your rod. It's going to be your brake pedal right here, and then your brake switch. And you can see this black clip right here. This is what we need to remove. And in order to get that off, what I like to use is two flat heads. Try to get my arms and hands in here, not block the camera. But you're going to pry on this clip right here. You're going to kind of spread that clip right there. And I like to take another one, and you'll use this one to push up with it. So as you're prying, push up. And let's try that again, because that didn't work. So pry this outward and then push up with this one. Just like that. Next, you should be able to take your brake switch off here. This should just pull right off. So just like that. And you can see it kind of just releases there. Next, we need to remove the four nuts that are holding the Hydro Boost to the firewall. And as you can see, we got one there. There's gonna be another one right there, just above that one, third one, and then right there. That's gonna be the fourth one. And those will be 15 millimeters. So let's go ahead and remove those. Alright guys, so finally, as you saw, that one is very hard to get to, that top one on the right. So you just gotta figure out what extensions you need, and should be able to get it. So now with those 4 nuts off, we should be able to pull the hydro boost out of here. First, I got a couple plastic bags. I'm gonna pull these lines out. I'll stick these around them. And as you can see, looks like this O-ring on this one is bad. You can see it's just falling apart. So I'm gonna need to replace that before we install the new one here. Let me just go ahead and pull this off all the way. See if I got a replacement one for it. You can see that O-ring's just disintegrating almost. And there's a piece of it right there. So let's go ahead and just gonna kind of wrap this around here just so we don't get anything leaking. And then I'll do the same with this other one here. Pull it out. And as you can see, this one looks like the same thing. Here's a piece of the O-ring right here. So it looks like I need to replace both O-rings on this. So now let's see if we can get this hydro boost out of here. May have to move this master cylinder down, push it down a little bit. Just be careful of your lines. You don't want to bend your lines or anything here. And then you should be able to just pop this out of here. Kind of like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at our old and new hydro boost here. So this old one, the guy I'm doing this for, he has replaced this a couple times and he just keeps having issues. I think this was a remanufactured one from Napa. Taking a look here, you can see the push rod right inside there. And on the new one here, I'll show you in a second, it already comes with this. I know a lot of people had to remove this and reuse the old push rod, but that one's already in there on that one. Flip it around here, you can see that gasket kind of came off, so I may have to just pull that off and stick it back on the firewall there. And then our new one, of course, I'll put a link in the description for this, but like I said, this is for a 2011 and newer. And as you can see, push rod's already in there and installed. And it pretty much looks exactly the same. I've heard of some people having to notch this out some because it's too small. But taking a look at this one here, not sure if you guys can see that, but you can see that inside diameter is the same. So looks like I won't have to notch this out anymore. They say that on some of the 03s and 04s that you do need to do that, and I think it's like a 41 by 64 drill bit to do that, but this one looks good. So hopefully this solves this problem, and let's go ahead and start sticking this in the truck. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our new hydro boost set up in here. Next, I'll go ahead and get all 4 of these nuts back on to hold the booster on here. Like I said, this back one here, top one is the hardest. Alright, so next do your brake switch here. So you got it, it's going to look like that. It's going to sit inside your rod's going to sit inside it here. And then you're going to have to move your brake pedal. Get that aligned correctly. And then go ahead and push your rod with your switch onto your brake pedal here. Try to get my hands in here. So kind of like that. So now let's get our clip back on our brake pedal. So you can see on this clip here, you got a bigger hole here, and then it goes down to a smaller one. So what we need to do is push real hard, and that'll push this clip in. And then with that clip pushed in, you're gonna wanna press up, and then this should lock inside that little ring going on the brake pedal here. So let's see if I can do this so you guys can see it. So like I said, you can get it in the big hole kind of, and then push. And as you're pushing in hard, you want to push up as well. And that didn't do it. So just like that. And you can see that kind of locked in. Just make sure. So hopefully you guys were able to see how I did that. Alright guys, so I went ahead and just got back from O'Reilly's here. Ended up getting a couple new O-rings on here. They weren't exactly sure on what size, and like I said, the other ones were disintegrated. So I actually just ended up getting this kit. It's like 11 bucks for a whole bunch of different O-rings on here. So this should work, and then I just kind of measured which one would fit the best. But now we should be able to start attaching these lines here. And you have these plugs here. So go ahead and get these started in here. And you always want to make sure these are going in like they should, because these you can cross thread them pretty easy here. So I got that started. And let's do this other one here. Pull that plug. And same thing, get that one started. Tighten this one up with your 16mm line wrench here. And same thing on this one. Again, this one's an 18mm. And get that one nice and tight. And then I'm gonna wait on the return line because I'm gonna hook up a hose to that and we'll flush the power steering system. So let's go ahead and get our master cylinder on here next. And then go ahead and get your two nuts started on here. Grab your 15 millimeter and let's tighten those down. So next I'm going to get all the old fluid out of the power steering reservoir here, since I want to put some new stuff in there. So I got a little drip pan here, and I'll pull this cap off here, and then I'm just going to be using just an old turkey baster here to suck some of that out of there. I'll stick that down in there, pull some of that out, and I'll just keep doing this till I get the majority of that out of there. All right, so I got the majority of that out, got as much as I can, and you can see it's actually quite a bit that reservoir holds, and you can see how brown and dark colored this is. So again, that's another reason why I'm flushing this, put some fresh fluid in. Next, go ahead and grab yourself a small funnel here, and we'll stick that in the reservoir. And show you what I'll be using here. This is just some Prestone basic power steering fluid. It says it meets the GM standards. I was going to try to find some synthetic. It seemed like everybody was out, and the places that did have it in stock, it was way overpriced. So just going with this basic power steering fluid here. And let's go ahead and add some in here. And this gallon jug was only 20 bucks at O'Reilly's. And you can see how clear the new fluid is, as opposed to the old stuff that came out that was brown. And don't want to add too much, but you don't want to add too little as well. So just as you're filling, let's double check our line here. And we'll want to go right there. If we go over the cold line, it's fine because it's still going to get pumped into the system here. But you also don't want it to suck air as well. And as you can see, we're way over the cold line, but that's all right. So I'll go ahead and leave that open here. All right, so next I'm just going to go ahead and attach the return line here. So you got this rubber cap on here. I'm gonna have to go into work tonight, so I wasn't planning on it. So I'm not sure if I'll have time to flush it, but let's go ahead and get it bled first. And grab your pliers here, or your channel locks. Let's go ahead and get this line back on. That on there. And then guys, with these clips, hose clamps, you want to make sure you get them back where they were when you started. If not, you may develop some leaks. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next is jack up the front end just to get the tires off the ground, so we can go back and forth as we're bleeding it. That way there's no friction between the ground and the tires. And I'm just going to go right underneath the plastic skid plate there. Got this cross member. I'll just go right there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple jack stands underneath the frame rail here, right behind the tires, just for safety precautions. And then I'll just slightly lower it but still leave my jack under here, just so they're sitting on the jack stands a little better. So kind of like that, and then just double check, make sure your tires are still off the ground there. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the key, but not start the truck. Close the door here. It's kind of like that. That way we can move the steering wheel without it locking up. And I'm gonna go do this 5 times. So I'm gonna go all the way to the right, all the way to the left till it locks, and then keep doing that back and forth 5 times. And then I'll go ahead and press on the brake pedal 3 times after that. So we'll go all the way to the right here, and then back to the left, back to the right, back to the left. Right there's 2 times, so we'll go 5 times. So right there's 5. Now let's go ahead and pump our brake pedal 3 times. We'll go down, let off, down, let off, down, let off. And now let's go ahead and check and see if our level went down some. Okay, so let's go ahead and check our level. And you can see, actually went down quite a bit here. We were more towards up that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing this a few more times, and let's see where we end up at. So I'll go ahead and do that quite a few more times here. All right, so let's see where we're sitting now. You can see it's actually getting down pretty much almost to the cold line now. So let's go ahead and do a few more of these. And then as you guys are doing this, you'll start to feel that brake pedal start to get a lot more firmer as well. All right, in this go round, I'm gonna press the brake pedal along with turning it. So I'm just turning, releasing, turning, and releasing. You can see, looks like it just went down barely any. So yeah, we're still pretty much right at, well actually yeah, so we're right at the cold mark now. You can see right there. So still did do a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this a few more times here, and then we'll go ahead and start it here. All right, so I went ahead and did that a few more cycles and times. Let's go ahead and check our level again here. And you can see, again, we're right at the cold line there. So the level doesn't seem to be dropping anymore. So I'm thinking maybe all the air's out. So I think what I'll do, I'll put this cap and dipstick back on here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the engine real quick, let it run for a second, and then I'll shut it off. And let's see if this level drops anymore, because I just don't want this to drop too much to where air gets sucked down in it. And I don't have another person here that can sit here and watch this, so let's go ahead and I'll start it and then I'll shut it off. So just something kind of like that. And let's go ahead and check this again. Because even that little bit just turned that pump some. And as you can see, looks like our level still hasn't changed here. So let me go ahead and start it again here, and we'll turn it from side to side there, and then we'll shut it off and we'll recheck. So we'll go ahead and start it here. Then I'll go ahead and turn it each side again. Back the other way. I'll just do that a couple times here. Like that. And I'll press the brake pedal. Shut it off. Let's check our level. All right, so let's go ahead and check our level again here. And as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell here, but looks like it dropped down quite a ways here, maybe half between the cold mark there. You can see if I dab it on the paper towel here. Let's try it again here. So if I dab it on the towel here, you can see it's pretty much right at the bottom here. So it did drop down quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add that up to the cold line there, and then I'll start it up again, and I'll turn the wheels a few more times and pump the brakes, and then hopefully that should be good. All right, so let's go ahead and check level one more time here. You can see still dropped just a hair, but let me wipe it on the towel here. You can see just about right there, so should be good there. Next, probably gonna take down the wheels and that, but like I said earlier, I got called into work here, so I'm gonna have to go, and so I'll probably continue this in the morning unless I get back here shortly. All right, guys, so it's the next day. As you can see, like I said, I got called out to my full-time job. I work on call, and had to go out later yesterday, and then went into the evening and didn't get home till later at night, so I wasn't able to finish this. So let's go ahead and do that now. We got the hydro boost all bled and everything, so I think what I'm going to do now is, since I got the time, I'm going to go ahead and pull this return line, and we'll put more new fluid into the reservoir and see if we can get the clean fluid running through the whole system now, since I do have it still jacked up and wheels off the ground and that. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, grab some rags or something so you don't make a mess here. Get you some channel locks or pliers. Let's pull this return line off here. And then again, I'll stick this in the McDonald's cup just so that doesn't make a mess there. All right, guys, so I got some just some 3/8 clear tubing here I'll throw on, and then with a hose clamp as well. Just put this on the return line here. And then Just tighten this hose clamp off just in case that were to pop off. Doesn't make a huge mess. And then since this tubing isn't very long, I'm just taking this old washer fluid bottle here. And I'm just kind of wedge it down in there, and then just go ahead and stick that down in that. Next, I'll go and pull the cap again, the dipstick, and you don't want this to run empty, so I'm going to fill this up a little more here. And what we'll do is we'll start it, and I'll turn the wheel back and forth a couple times, and then pump the brakes as well, and then I'll check our level, and we should have some of that old fluid coming out going into there. And you want to just keep double checking this to make sure it doesn't run too low and suck in any air, since we already bled everything. So like I said, it's at the cold mark now. I'm going to go ahead and just add a little more here to bring it up. And then if you have to, you guys can always shut it off as well to check your levels and that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and then I'll turn the wheel a couple times, come back out here and check it, see how much it dropped, and see if I need to add any. All right, so as you see, I was pressing on the brake, and you can see that fluid pretty brown going into the thing here. So go ahead and pump it a few more times, and check my level here. All right, guys, so I'm gonna call that good right there. You can see how clean this is now. It's not as black. So I think what I'll do next is let me go ahead and fill this up the rest of the way. So you can see we're just about right there. So just a little bit above the cold. So go ahead and put that back on. Then go ahead and get your jug out of the way here with all your old fluid. And then go ahead and pull this hose clamp off here. Get yourself a rag. And let's pull this off here. And then let that drain down into your jug here. Get that out of the way. Then go ahead and grab your return line here. And then with our return line back on, I'll go ahead and start it one more time and pump the brakes and turn the wheel as well. All right, so everything felt good. We got fresh fluid in there. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the jack and jack stands, and we'll check our level one more time, and then we'll go ahead and take it for a spin. Okay, so with it lowered and back on level ground here, let's check this one more time. And you can see we are right at the cold full line right there. So we should be good. So let's go ahead and take this for a spin and see how everything feels. All right, so let's go ahead and take it for a test drive here. And then before you take off, just make sure you got brakes and everything. Just kind of tap on your brakes. See, we got brakes, everything feels good. Let's pull it out of the garage here. Just double check your steering, make sure that feels good. And everything feels good. Get your brakes. This seems to be stopping way better now. So go ahead and drive this for a little bit, get that fluid warmed up, everything, and then we'll recheck our level and do a closeout. All right guys, so I just got back from a little bit of a drive here. I'm gonna go ahead and check that level one more time, and that's pretty much gonna do it for the video. Again, this was a 2004 GMC Sierra 2500. Went ahead and upgraded the Hydro Boost system, and I'll try to put links in the description to all the products I used in the video today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.